Okay guys, welcome. We're talking about deathlops today. Fluid genetics cannot be ignored. What we had in humanity was people living outside of the cities in their life cycle, most of the time not having any problems. We've got absolute contentment, absolute happiness 24 hours a day, because we're full of GLP-1s, we're full of serotonin, we're full of dopamine, human motivation. Humans and all other animals already know instinctively to go use the restroom away from where they eat. In the cities, what we had was basically we were slaughtering the animals in the same places we've got the humans, and then we don't have a separation between the drinking water and the poop water. It's the same water. And so we're getting all of these diseases in the city from these species of animals and their poop. And we have no separation. That's how we're getting these diseases. This is a baby cat. The baby cat came out of the womb and immediately knew to go somewhere else, dig a hole, and put the poop in the ground. The cat's not going to use the same place 2 days in a row. The cat's going to sniff the ground because it's going to put the calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and nitrogen where it's needed, as it's done for billions of years. This is a human life cycle. We're all participating. This pig has a life cycle, but it's been symbiotic for 1 billion years. We're all working together on this planet. We cannot leave this. What we had in these cities was, what we don't realize we had in these cities was, we weren't building these cities larger and larger and larger and larger because the people were dying as quickly as they were coming in, and they were dying as quickly as they were being born. And so there was absolutely no need to have a growing city as the city was dying at the exact same rate, or more so. We've got an abundance of cheap housing. We've got an abundance of everything we need because people are dying at this insane rate. They're dying quicker than they're being born. This is a self-leveling system. If we overpopulate, if we exceed the carrying capacity of an area, the body chooses to die. Today we're going to talk about deathlops. People in deathlops with each other. What we have right now is, before we would just get cholera, we would just get tuberculosis, and we would just die. And so the system was quite easy. And now we've broken that. As soon as we came up with medicine, we said, hey, look, we're all well now. We're all well. The city had 100,000, then it had 200,000, then it had 10 million people. Look at these people. Look how great we've done. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Accept that your body has a system inside of it that counts its species energies and makes evolutionary decisions, the most important of which are the right to life and the right to procreate. If you do not have the right to life, you do not have the right to procreate. It's one and then the other. But if this person can, if their body can decide, hey, there's no energy here for me, and easily dispatch themselves, there's no real problems. The society is going to stay about the same size or shrink as need be. As soon as we start pumping everybody full of antibiotics so that they're still walking around, the body now has a more difficult job. It's got to get you in the soil. It's got to murder you. We've got 341 million Americans that are zombies, dead. Their body has made a decision to put itself in the ground, but they can't figure out how to get it done. Every time they get something wrong with them, they go to the hospital and somebody paddles them back to life or kills the infection inside of them without repairing this decision, without reversing this decision so the body says, okay, now we have the right to life. Without offering the mathematics required to make a decision to procreate, to have the right to procreate. And so all of these people are just frustrated. They're walking around saying, hey, I'm waiting for life to begin. The 18-year-old, if it's a beautiful 18-year-old, they're walking around taking pictures of themselves saying, look, I'm the one that's happy. I'm the one that's happy. I'm the one that's happy. Well, we've got 5 generations saying we're the generation that's sad but taking happy pictures. We're the sad generation taking happy pictures. If you ask that 18-year-old, hey, how are you doing? She's probably going to come up with some bubbly answer. Like the 2 in the cop car that had just killed some people, and they're laughing and giggling and saying everything is fantastic as they're on their way to death row or something, I don't know. But if you ask a secondary question, a backup question, if you say, hey, sit down. I'm a doctor of feelings and communication and stuff, Have a seat. Tell me what's really going on. You're going to hear some messed up crap. That person is putting on a show. They feel they are responsible to society to put on this show. Look, there are happy humans, but what's going on inside is a nightmare. And then that person's body is trying to make it unattractive, physically and emotionally. Unattractive to avoid procreation. And in a few short years, that person is going to look like a broken can of biscuits. Fat's going to start popping out of crazy places, and their physical appearance is going to catch up to what's going on inside of them. Everybody else is already admitting, hey, this isn't real life. This may be a simulation. I don't know what's going on. I don't feel anything. I can have sex, but I don't feel satiated by sex. I'm having sex and then saying, I just had sex and I need sex. You've all felt that urgent, this is all I can think about. A deep cut and sexual need are the same thing. You cannot avoid that. This thing is screaming. If you have sex, have sex with some unattractive person that has no happiness, no motivation, no chemicals inside of them to make them content, and no true feelings towards you. This is a situationship. I'd rather be with the supermodel, you'd rather be with the supermodel, but we're too ugly to attract anything else, so let's go have sex. Not only is this ugly, gross sex, but you don't have any nitric oxide, which is the male and female version of Viagra. It's the exact same chemical that makes the male parts and the female parts. A female that hasn't taken the Viagra can participate in sex, but she's going to feel almost nothing. She's just going to be complacent in this act more than anything. The male, even though they've taken this pill, and the act of sex is now possible, the chemicals, the endorphins, the amazing endorphins, the explosions that are supposed to be going off, are minuscule. They are 1/100th of what they should be because these chemicals aren't available. So your body is screaming, hey, this isn't life. We got to get this body into the soil. Your body's not telling you that. It's making a plan without you. It's telling you whatever little story you need to hear. The heavy person that is overweight with carbohydrates is saying, man, look at those people working out. That's not enjoyable. I'd rather enjoy these carbohydrates to death. If I'm going to die of diabetes with my legs cut off, I'm at least going to enjoy this Cinnabon. I'm at least going to enjoy this ice cream while I'm up here. And of course, that's going to put them in the soil. The bodybuilder is saying, look at that idiot. I look good. I attract more attractive females. This is my version of living my best life. When, of course, the heart is just a muscle. We're making the heart larger at the exact same rate we're making the rest of the muscles larger. We literally cannot make the rest of the muscles larger without doing that. We wouldn't be able to support it. And so, the heart's getting larger. The hole in the chest is not getting larger. And so, 25 years old, 30 years old, gone. It's extremely rare for one of these bodybuilders to live past the age of 35 or so. The fatty's almost going to outlive the buff person, the healthy person. The cardio people are a little bit harder to kill. We last a little bit longer. But death loss, people, death loss. That's not getting it done quick enough. And so, let's just talk about some specific situations. While I was on the bike ride this morning, 4,000-foot incline, that's when I'm thinking about what the lesson's going to be today. I was thinking of a couple of good experiences. We're not going to use any names or anything like that, of course. And these things it's every man. This is all of you. We're not seeing new scenarios. We're seeing the same things over and over and over again. I've got a person in mind, but I've talked to you guys, 10,000 different ones of you, and heard the exact same stories. A female that is altruistic, or is advertising being philanthropic, altruistic, but it's all hugs and smiles, and everybody's your brother, and everybody's your son, and everybody's your mother. But they insert themselves into charitable situations. Oh, you're doing the drive for these people, for these people, for these people. Oh, I want to be involved. I want to be involved. I must be involved. I'm going to be the integral person. Let me get so deep into this responsibility that if I stop doing my job, we basically kill the entire organization. This person is presenting themselves as free labor, a huge net gain, gross and net gain, but then they're interjecting themselves in a place where if they stop doing their job, the entire operation just stops. And then they go, well, why are you in that position? If you were handing out the food, if you were going and asking restaurants to collect the food, if you were cold calling the businesses trying to get the food, and you stopped doing your job, we'd have 50 more. You're interjecting yourself as admin, as administrative, so that you're keeping one of these major parts, these absolutely necessary parts of this machine from continuing. When you stop, everything stops, and it looks like this is by design. The altruistic person, the person that's presented themselves, interjected themselves into this already ongoing operation, is saying, hey, why are you guys picking on me? This thing is happening to me, and now you guys are picking on me. But this person is going from this situation of victimization over and over and over. Every time they get involved with something, they say, hey, I'm going to be the person right in the middle, right here. You're going to be able to count on me no matter what. As a matter of fact, let me take some of this work home. And they kill the operation. And then when everybody says, hey, we got to get you out of there, maybe you can be the person that hands out the food, or the person that goes and tries to collect the food, or something again, but we need you out of this situation. And this person is going, they're not giving back the important item that's keeping this operation from going forward. I've seen this over and over and over, guys. And now this person is trying to defend themselves. In their eyes, they're being lied to by their own body. Their own body is trying to get them in the ground, trying to get everybody in the ground by saying, hey, look, these guys are attacking you again. Again. This person's on the phone defending themselves, and they're just getting hung up on. They're saying, hey, look here, you're not going to abuse me. And the other person's going, oh, dude, we're a charitable organization. We're not a screaming match organization. That's weird. We're the opposite thing of that. We're the exact opposite thing of that. And this person is desperately trying to get somebody that'll stay on the phone so they can scream, oh, you're dishing it out, but you can't take it. And every one of the other people are saying, wow, weirdo, nobody's dishing it out. There's no one dishing it out. It's just you screaming at everybody in this organization that you said you were going to help. And now you're just not giving us this proprietary stuff back so that the entire thing can keep going. You stopped everybody. We're not helping the people anymore. You stopped all of us. You stopped all of them from getting help. And now you're just sitting on a couch trying to find somebody that will let themselves just be abused. And I'm not speaking about a specific person. Each one of us has this genetic code inside of us and can become this person. You have to be very careful with the math inside your habitation. If we have too many of the people and too few of the energies, the urgency goes up, and now you turn into that spaz. I get creeped out when I think of each one of these patients, these clients, these people that we have studied and helped. I get creeped out. I get creeped out every time they tell me one of their victimization stories. I'm just going, wow, you just destroyed that, didn't you? You've got to keep that. That's the inside voice, but I get creeped out. However, understand this is a genetic sequence. That person was philanthropic, and so they allowed more people to sleep at their house. Hey, come on in. You don't have a place to live. You can sleep in the garage. You can sleep in the basement. You can sleep in the spare bedroom. We've increased the number of humans, but we have not increased the number of soil. We have not increased the number of animals. We have not increased the number of food-bearing plants. And so the urgency goes way up. And now this person's on a phone trying to scream at somebody. and you're going, huh, nothing in this situation is conducive to that sort of action. As a matter of fact, this seems like a dangerous thing. People that are screaming at people are people that lose their freedom. People that are screaming at people are people that do violent things. People that are screaming at people are people that end up with violent things happening to them. You can't just scream at people and accuse them of crazy things without somebody eventually losing their temper and doing something dumb. You're making yourself a target here. This seems super high risk, super dangerous. You can't just go through life screaming at children and screaming at people that you're in the church charitable organization or with the secular charitable organization. There's no situation where this one person is trying to scream, hey, I'm a victim. I was a victim at the last thing. I'm going to be a victim at the next thing. But you need to listen to me. Deathlocks, relationships. Let's talk about relationships. I don't know why, but I was thinking of one, probably because it's just every man's story again. Every man's story again. We've got a young man, good at life, goes out on Friday night, has some drinks, doesn't get a DUI, a little bit of a high risk. He's going to drive to the club. He probably knows the police. It's a relatively small town, but he doesn't know all the police. There's still some risk involved. Got kind of what he considers to be a girlfriend, a steady relationship, but he's got enough money. He's a blue-collar worker. He's making enough money that he can afford to, maybe get sex with another person on a Friday night if he gets lucky. Mid-20s, late 20s, still wanting to express, hey, I'm Daryl. I'm not dead. My body's still decent. I'm good at life. Got my bills paid and I have money left over. I've got nice clothes on to kind of let women know. I've got a nice vehicle to let women know. Got a second property to let women know that I'm somebody that can provide. Got a boat. Got a nice little boat so we can go and chill out on the lake. The steady Eddie, the main girlfriend, little bit older, little bit of baggage, little bit of lines underneath the eyes, bags under the eyes, lines next to the eyes. But this person is hearing a voice inside of their head that says, hey, there's a certain texture to this one female's vagina that's just better. It's just better. I've got the younger, prettier girl, larger breasts. The breasts are a little bit higher and larger, but the texture isn't the same. It's just not going to be the same. We've got this one girl. The one girl isn't announcing, hey, I'm done with you. She's an older gal, so she's not wanting to, snip anything permanently. If this ends up being all she ends up being able to get, she doesn't want to burn any bridges. However, she's seeing this guy, her guy, checking out some other avenues. So she's checking out a couple of other people. Both of these people are basically just having sex. They're avoiding confrontation, they're avoiding difficult conversations, but they're basically just having sex. There's 3 or 4 partners a day on each side, and then they're meeting up and they're still having occasional sex. There's some bickering. Hey, you did this with this person, you did this with this person. But for the most part, they're just trying to catch a disease and then infect the 30, 40, 50 people that are in this little love circle. They're, of course, just messing around with 3 or 4 or 5 people apiece, but each of those people are messing around with 3 or 4 or 5 people, and so on. And so this grows pretty quick. One of these people gets a disease, it's 300 people in a week. It's 300 people, if it's not 1,000, inside of a week, deathlock. But we've also got, these relationships. The guy feels like he's in a monogamous relationship. The girl part of the time is feeling like she's in a monogamous relationship. When they're each finding out about the other partners, there's this potential for violence that we're seeing every single day. These deathlocks. This person is saying, "Hey, that's my wife. I like all these other girls. They're cute. They got big boobs, but this is the girl with the texture, the correct texture. What are you doing with my correct texture person?" This seems crazy to us, but I'm hearing this over and over and over, where this voice inside of their head is saying, "Hey, this one person who I haven't told, you're my one. I don't want to do that. I don't want to close it off. I don't want to keep my options. I still want to be able to go out on Friday nights. I haven't told this person yet, but that's my one person. That's my soulmate. This person is extremely important to me. I haven't announced this to them so that they can announce it to everybody else, so that we can have a monogamous relationship. However, they should know this. They've got the texture, and this is the thing. A lot of times, the one idea that this inner voice is utilizing is not going to make a lot of sense to anybody else. A lot of times, they're not going to want to share this one thread that is really causing them to be a potentially violent person. That's going to be something that they're going to keep very personal, but it's extremely real to them. When these people snap and blow up the Trump building, or blow themselves up, or whatever disgusting thing, when we find out what's going on inside of it, cat scared the crap out of me. There was a wasp that flew by here, and the cat tapped my foot at the same time, and my body freaked out. When we find out, it used to be somebody'd sit in a cabin and write something for 30 years. And now they say, I don't know, I killed the CEO of this health company, and I don't know if it's even any of my business, but whatever. It's requiring less and less and less as the urgency goes up and up and up. As we increase the number of people in the schools, in the cities, in the buses, in the everythings, and are not being responsible for the other energies that your body is measuring. It's measuring species and species energy. If we're increasing the species without increasing the energy for that species, that person is going to get closer and closer to snapping. Nice people. Deathlock. You don't know it, but you're in a deathlock with the rest of the people on the bus going down the street. Amazing people. We have to care for these things. If we wait until this happens, if we just wait until this happens to your kid, or to your loved ones or whatever, that's on us. We know the math. all we have to do is support those human energies, and we don't have these situations continuing. Let's just run through the human life cycle again. You, if you're putting your microorganisms make 100% of your serotonin. Brain is a consumer. Don't let these idiots tell you that your brain is manufacturing serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, spinal fluid. The brain is a consumer. Your body is a consumer. 100% is being made in your tummy. They're being made by your microbiome, which is the group of 1,000 different species of microorganisms in the numbers of trillions. They're making 100% of these extremely important chemicals, but you're losing 10 billion per poop, per BM, per trip to the restroom. If you lose 10 billion every day to a water treatment plant where we euthanize 100% of them with chlorine, chloramine, bromine, nasty, forever chemicals, they're dead. Now, every day you're going to have fewer and fewer and fewer, and in a week you're going to have an unsustainable amount of these things inside of you. Now we're going to see zero happiness, zero motivation, a lowering ability to have sex, to enjoy sex. We're going to see psychosis because we're not changing the fluid inside of your brain. The spinal fluid inside of your cranium must be changed out 100% every day, or we see psychosis. Everything that's being diagnosed in America is a misdiagnosis. If you're living in a city, pooping in a water treatment plant, you're not changing out that fluid. We can see that on a CT scan. But medicine in 2025 it's garbage. All we're doing is inoculating these people so that they don't physically die. We're paddling them back to life and then sending them down the street, filling them full of antibiotics, murdering 100% of these microorganisms, and then shooting them down the street. We're not saying, hey, does it feel like your brain is sitting in acid right now? Are you scared of things you shouldn't be scared of? Are you nervous 24 hours a day? Are you feeling less satiated by sex? We're not addressing anything. We're paddling this person back to life, street again. It's disgusting. A life cycle is this, nice people. There has to be a sustainable amount of soil, a sustainable number of food-bearing plants. The poop goes in the soil. The plants who have evolved with us, I joked there. The plants who have evolved with us have evolved to turn sunlight into sugar. They're going to turn sunlight into sugar that they don't need. What? They're going to put that in the soil because they're an integral part of the life cycle. They need the microorganisms. Where the microorganisms coming from? You're going to put them in the ground. He's going to put the sugar in the ground. Boom, we're going to see a genesis. Now we're going to see extreme soil health. Now, these guys are taking up water. They're taking up calcium, magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus, and trillions and trillions of microorganisms. Now we're going to see an explosion of life in the plant, and as you care for this plant and eat the food from the plant, you're going to receive these microorganisms again in a sustainable number. That's the human life cycle. But remember, your body is measuring the units of energy of the carbohydrates and the protein living in the trees and in the plants and making evolutionary decisions. So we need the circle, but we need a sustainable amount of soil and these energies present. If we just get the microorganisms back inside of you, but we're not satisfying the number, your body is still going to be making these plans without you. If you're trying to diet and a voice inside of you is trying not to diet, it's winning or it's not winning. If there's a voice inside of you that's pushing back against you on anything, your body has made a decision to put you in the earth. When the body and the inner voice are congruent, that's our new diagnosis, amazing people. Guys, I gotta go. Deathlocks. I care about you guys a lot. I'm gonna do this again real soon. Boop.